Will you work? Will you work? Oh, okay. Okay, the audio's working, the soundtrack's working, it's all working. Alright, since technically now it's a new video, I have to go back. The music is pretty much done by Stream Beats. This is one of their sets. This is their hip hop set. As you guys know, I've been trying very patiently trying to update some of the stuff on the channel. So let's talk about a little bit the art supplies. As I said, Stanmore, really good stuff. $13 on Amazon. I get them in sets of 4. So back in the day, it used to be mad expensive. What I tend to use for pencils, I get these on Amazon. I get them in packs for 12 as well. Prismacolor, this is indigo. Blue, I've been using this for a long time. It's one of my favorite colors. Oh my god, please focus. Okay, please refocus. Hold on. I'm getting better at this. Yay! Focus. Focus. Aha! See? Getting better at it. Aha! Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Okay. Alright, and as you can see, basic 25-cent ruler you can pretty much get anywhere. And then this is my very elegant, great value art supply bin with all the latest technology in here. I love my analog. I've always have. I've always been an analog kid. The reason why I like the Ziploc bag ones, I don't have to, I can shape it in almost any way that I want. It's easy to carry. I don't have to worry about the case busting up. And you know what? Once this bag is like almost a year old and it's still holding, I can't complain. Basic sharpener. I will tell you this. I love the high polymer erasers. I've been using these for a long time. Pretty basic stuff. I can't tell you how many times I met many artists that are like, well, I can't draw because I don't have the fancy stuff. It's like, that's total BS. If you can't draw, you can't draw. Okay? So my suggestion is practice some more. And I do have these in different colors. I got them in brown and I got them in like red. I have the non-photo blue version. These are extremely hard to find in this area. But I tend to pretty much just draw with a lot of blue. That's my violet. All right. And I've been using these for as far back as I can remember. And if you guys follow me on my Twitter, or, some of you guys are on my Facebook, or you're on my LinkedIn, you will see, let me show you what my last page looked like. Let me roll over here. Whoop, whoop. And this is the last page that I posted. So I come from an illustration and animation background. I have an associate's in fine arts, and then I have my bachelor's in computer animation, and I got my master's in marketing. I love sequential art. I've loved this since I was a little kid. My first love was Aha Take on Me, and ever since then I love sequential art. That piece of artwork has been a huge influence on me. So this right here is book 6. I do have the rest of book 5 back here. This is a very thick binder. I don't want to move the camera too much. But this is pretty much what my final color pieces look like. So let me walk you guys through the process. I have until around 7 o'clock to draw tonight. If I don't finish tonight, I'll finish it tomorrow. It took me a little longer than I anticipated to set this up. It's just, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. All right, first the camera wouldn't focus and a couple other things wouldn't focus. All right, so this is pretty much the script. This is pretty much what I start with. And I use just a basic El Cheapo mechanical pencil that you can get from anywhere. Big, you get these 25 of them for like $1. And I pretty much start thumbnailing what the shot is going to be. I always try to make sure that I have the dialogue right next to me, what they're going to be saying, so that way I can place them properly. I know a lot of my friends that made fun of me in the past, they're like, you always leave a lot of space, or like, your thing seems to be hyper-focused on the characters. And I'm like, well, the characters are the main performance, so I want to make sure that things are focused on them. And by the way, guys, if you do try to comment, I will apologize that I had to do like follow-only comments. Recently, I've been getting attacked a lot by all these like spam bot people. So if you want, you can follow me so you can comment, and then you can unfollow. It's cool. I totally get it. But I'm gonna be looking to the side to see if anybody's chatting with me. But that's what happened. It's just I ended up literally getting hit with something ridiculous, over 200 in less than a minute. So I had to put it to followers only. It sucks, but that's cool. All right. So as you can see right here, most of this page is dialogue between two people, and it's actually these type of scenes are a little harder because most people see them as boring. So it's mainly based on performance. So right here I have a side shot, then it's a side shot that pretty much is kind of like responding to the dialogue here. Then I have an over-the-shoulder shot of my female character. That's my main, so that's my female protagonist and my main male protagonist. So they're the primary characters, and then there's her responding to him, and then they're right there. They're just kind of talking back and forth with each other, and they're just responding. These little speech bubbles right here just kind of gives me an idea how much space I need to leave in order to pretty much cover this much dialogue on the side. Now keep in mind, this is my personal project. Every studio has their script set up differently. Most of them you will see if you Google, they'll have at the top, they'll have the name of the book, what's the page, and they'll have their format done a little bit different. But because this is a personal project, I just kind of wrote this down real quick, just kind of put in ideas, and then I went back and I refined it. And even at this stage, I go back in, so you can see right here in the script, because it's my personal story and I'm doing something for a client, I'm going ahead and I'm still editing some of the dialogue. So right now, my main focus for this year, and I mentioned this in the last video that was annoyingly kept breaking up on and off. My goal is to get all 7 books drawn out. This is book 6. So I'm trying to get all the pencils done by the end of the year. Hopefully I can start doing the colors. And then hopefully by 2022, I can have it ready for my friend to do lettering, which he is phenomenally fast. I know this cat for like 20 years. He works for a really, really big comic book company, which I'm going to kind of keep down the down low because I don't want to put him on the spot. And then for most part, I'm hoping to get a publisher at that point. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So right now, so you can see right here about my dialogue, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is back here. Okay, so that is five panels. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now right here, the sizes kind of give me like a sense of importance of like what's going on. I can either split these evenly, or I can kind of make one more important than the other. So let's measure this out. So right now, right here, there's 12 inches right there. So that's 12 inches total. And then if I go a little bit further, okay, that right there is 12, 13, 14, 15, just shy of 16 inches. Okay, if this was 4 panels, it's 16 inches divided by 4 would be around 4 inches. But remember, I do have the gutter. So what I can do is I can try to go with 3 and change, and this is going to be trial and error. All I know is that this last one right here, this is the main one because I need to see her expression. Excuse me, down here. I need to see her expression. The characters have a very complex relationship, and it's not even much of a relationship. It's just, life, you've known each other for like forever, so some feelings may emerge. Maybe platonic from one character and not platonic from the other, but there's a mission and the world is ending and blah, 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 and you know how that goes. All right. So right here, I'm just going to safely go with 3. And what I'm doing is, and I'm sure you guys can see it, there we go. I'm just doing some very small markings. I'm going right here, this is going to be 0, 0, 3, and I'm just going to leave about 1/8, and I just mark 3 so that way I'm keeping track of that. So that's 1. And normally I do this prep ahead of time. I got busy with adulting, and I was trying to get all my stuff ready before the holiday weekend started. As you guys know, it's 4th of July, and I hate being around the general public. No offense to them. I don't like how people behave these days in public, so I try to avoid them as much as possible. All right, so this last one, so that shouldn't turn out too bad. So there's 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and change. So this was a little bigger than the other ones. The main thing that I want to keep in mind is that I gotta make sure I keep the action up here within this area. So that way, as you can see, this is the main action area. Then right here you have this right here is the trim line, and then right here you have the bleed line. So you don't want to put anything important out here. You want to make sure you keep a lot of the action in here, and definitely a lot of the dialogue here. Can I change the size a little bit later? Yeah, I can kind of fudge it, but I'm trying not to do that. All right, let me just go ahead and tilt this out a little bit so you guys can see, because I'm mainly going to be drawing. Let me adjusting the camera. There we go. Cool beans. So I'm going to go right here. Please God, don't hit me for copyrights. I swear to God, it's a copyright free. I looked into it. Blah 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 blah. I just hate sitting there and just sitting in dead silence. Like I said, I learned from my laugh from my first video. So and this is always a learning experience. And the camera's fading out again. Give me a second. Point of focus. Focus. Cool. I'll eventually figure that out, guys. Like I said, every time I do a video, I learn a little bit more. That includes my gaming. All right. So 3, 3, 3 all the way across. Nothing too crazy. And I go over here. And I start just kind of lightly drawing my gutters. And some, everybody's a little different on their gutters. As you can see, I'm not too worried about it. Because this is so light at this point. It ain't that serious. And it's funny because a lot of my friends that they've always told me, I'm going to do a book. I'm going to do a book. I'm going to like, okay, then do a book. Oh, but it's got to be perfect. And I'm like, dude, just do it. They're like, oh, but it's got to be perfect. It's like, just fucking draw me something. Just draw anything. I don't care. I don't care if it's freaking stick figures. Just make me something. So people get so hung up over all the little minor details. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure you draw. For me, this is a comic book I want to read. I don't expect everybody to like this book. In fact, I don't expect anybody to read this book. But at the end of the day, I can say, you know what? I drew a book, and I finished it, and that's my goal right now. Like I said, this comic book is called The Hellion Rider. It came out, believe it or not, the first one came out almost 10 years ago. And it was based on a joke between me and a childhood friend. And unfortunately, rest in peace, he passed away a couple years ago, stage 4 cancer. I was one of the last friends that saw him and hung out with him before he died. And, it's a lot of things happen in between the first book. Life happens. And once I finally had the time, I found out he was sick, and I saw him die. So I worked on the first book, worked on the second book, like 2014-ish type era. And then I picked it up again, and he got sick, and it went downhill, and it took me about a year. He passed away in 2019, and at that point, I kind of was dealing with a lot of personal stuff. My parents had just passed away, too, and I lost another friend, so I was going through a lot. So the hardest challenge for me was to draw my friend who passed away over and over and over again. So right now, I'm just kind of doing as a memorial to him. So yeah. So right now I'm looking at the poses. So at this point it's a really emotional moment. Nothing sexual. It's just, you have, when you work around people for a long time, you start developing bonds. There's a thing in game or even animation, story development. It's called I believe it's called, character layers, cake layers. And what it is, I need to go back and look at the terminology. I'm kind of like freelancing this. Okay. And what it is everybody has different relationships towards one another. For example, you have a different relationship that you do towards your parents than you do towards a lover. You have a different relationship. The way you behave around them is different than if you would towards a friend. There's a difference between a new friend and a childhood friend. So different levels of bonds. And you have these characters right here. Once the story is released, they grew up together. They experienced a very traumatic moment. And one of them has kind of been more of a caregiver to the other. And the other was just kind of like a free spirit. And because of what he does, he kind of takes her for granted at times. So this is a really touching moment when he's realizing that, he needs to stop taking her for granted and stop being a poo head. I don't know how else to describe it. So right now I'm doing something very sentimental. Whenever you have partners or friends that are very close, they don't have to be physical, but like especially with like lovers or someone that you know for a long time, especially you're worried, you tend to get within their bubble. If someone kisses you on their forehead or they pretty much put their forehead against yours, that is pretty much a very close kind of adoration or like not really intimate, but there's a special bond. Most people, we like our space, so we don't really go out of our way to get too close, and definitely not get into someone's bubble. Granted, this is depending on the culture, but most people do not get in your bubble by default. They just don't. Right now, not to worry about his hair. I'm just kind of just doing basics right here and just kind of laying it out. Most of the dialogue is going to go right here, so I'm leaving that space right there. Circle, nose, mouth, and then right here you have her hair. And normally I have a character sheet, but I draw these characters so much that I can almost draw them in my sleep. I still have to go back and kind of do changes because like I'll forget like a tattoo or an earring. Trying to keep the characters consistent, especially in my book where my characters actually change. They actually change clothing. Like in this point, her clothing got freaking trashed. So she's just waking up from a really nasty situation, and all she's got is the bed sheet. Nothing like that. She's just recovering from bad injuries. So yeah, so he's kind of talking to her. And she's just kind of speechless because he's always kind of been a jerk to her. So this is one of those moments. And it's got the Adam's apple. Okay, anybody chatting with me? Nope, no one's chatting me. And that's cool. That's cool. You don't need to talk. You know, we could just be strangers in the night. Da, 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 da. Now for me, I always like to keep my backgrounds very simple. I always try to keep the backgrounds consistent. For in this example, the background is not important. That's not what's important. The characters' interaction is what is. There are two more characters in the scene, but at this point, because there's a bunch of dialogue here, I'm not gonna really draw them because I'm gonna draw them to cover them up. So it makes no sense. So right here, so now that he's done, kind of apologizing to her. And this is pretty much how I start my stuff, guys. I always try. Normally, most people do this with non-photo blue pencil. I tend to do it all with the same pencil. Alright, this might be a little too big. I kind of need... So this is a close-up. I need a mix, almost like a medium close-up right here. And notice I'm keeping them... There's a thing called the 180 rule. If your character starts from one side of the scene, you keep them on the same side of the scene. You don't bounce them too much back and forth because it disorients your audience. He's trying to be... And I tend to break the fourth wall a lot. It's just something that I like to do. To me, it looks fun. Mainly I just do it with his hair. It's just something that I do. I don't know why. My friend V, it's funny because I kept his actual name in the book. And my actual last name is on the character here. And he used to do this like, not a faux hawk, but like a mohawk. And that was like his signature. He could be like 50 yards away. And you saw that little top of his head and you knew it was him. You knew it was him. Okay, so right now, he's talking to her. And right now I'm just blocking the basic posture. The posture of your body tells a lot about your mind state. The best way that I can describe it, let me go over here. If a character's confident, they're going to have their chest pumping out. They're going to be very confident. If a character is kind of sad, you're going to see them kind of slunched down. You can see like the arms kind of complementing that expression. Okay. In this case, the character's kind of worried. So it's going to be a mix between them being kind of cerebral, because if they're worried, that means they're constantly thinking about somebody. So you're going to see that the head tends to kind of lead, and then their back is gonna kind of slouch a little bit forward, but it's still gonna be erect, especially if they have severe concerns. And there's different kinds of concerns, but again, this is just me just kind of simplifying it. All right, but just kind of give you guys an idea. I'm gonna grab a swig of water. So hopefully this reads a little bit better. Like I said, guys, I'm sorry I deactivated the chat unless you are a follower. It's just, again, I don't want to get spammed to death. So, all right, cool beans. So we got this going on. Okay, so he's worried. He's talking to her. And right around here. Remember, he's a little taller than she is. So I cannot draw them too much eye level. She's kind of processing what he's saying. And her character, like I said, is based off from me. She's got a very strong personality, but deep inside, she has a really big heart. And it's funny because I get told I'm a very scary, intimidating person at times. And those who know me, they know I have a very big heart. But I've had to be very tough because people have taken advantage of me over and over and over again. So as you get older, even if you're a kind person, you start shielding yourself more and more, and that's kind of where she's at. That's a character where she's a really nice person, especially towards him, but you know, she's kind of a tough as nails. You know, if you ever have to deal with people with strong personalities, if you don't have a strong personality, they'll just walk all over you. So she kind of puts this strong facade, but in actuality, she's just a really nice, sensitive person. But, you know, this is kind of like a Mad Max world, so definitely you cannot be sensitive in this world, or, you know, things will eat you and crap. I know, you know, she just woke up, so she got slight bedhead. Normally, she's got like her hair parts in two, like this part of her hair is purple. I'll clarify that more as we go through. Just trying to give her the illusion of bedhead. And right here, like I said, I'm just kind of drawing the basics. And hopefully this page won't be as crazy as the other ones. Again, and not to worry too much about what's going on in the background, because they're the ones that are priority, nothing else. XX means mainly dark back there, and not to worry about it. Now this one right here is going to get interesting. This is an over the shoulder for her. So we're going to be looking at the back of her skull. And she, at this moment, not sure if you guys remember from the page I posted last time, that I showed you guys a little while ago, for most part, she's just holding the sheet with one arm. She just got healed. So and she's got these really interesting tattoos that I define. And she's got a tattoo back here that I have to find. Whew. How can I be tired? I actually got some sleep yesterday. And again, I'm just breaking that fourth wall there. It's just something that I like. It's a personal thing. Don't ask me questions. I just like it, okay? Let me be. I do stuff for other people all day. This is Anna's time. This is Anna's house. Literally, I'm in my house. I know, lame dad joke. Let me have this, okay? So she's sitting on the bed. You may see maybe a little bit. So he is sitting right here. He's still talking. She's just still kind of confused at his sudden change of behavior. Why he's acting the way he is. And have you ever had anybody that's ever been just really very unappreciative of you, and then suddenly they're very caring? You will be confused too. It's a sudden dramatic change in behavior. So the character here is just kind of processing what's going on with this character over here. He's not being as puff. So he's normally Mr. Cool Guy, but this was such a crazy situation, that he's kind of put his cool guy down, and he's just trying to be a friend to her at this point. Yeah, like I said, she got really messed up in a couple pages back, so he's kind of really reevaluating how important she is, towards him. Hey guys, anybody else joining in? My apologies if the chat's kind of turned off. I only have it as if you're a follower, you can chat. It's just I ended up getting a lot of spam bots. So, and I mean a lot of spam bots. So I said you're more welcome to, add and then, unfollow. That's cool too. If you want to ask questions, I'll be looking over to the side. So yeah. But yeah, so right here, the character's demeanor is completely changing towards her after a very dramatic situation. And I'm just kind of blocking things out. Technically, right here, it's the horizon line. I'm gonna put the 1 point perspective here, and this is just for me. That's like the edge of the bed, and she's sitting. So you can kind of see him sitting there. Excuse me, my bad. Okay, so she's still holding to her sheets. Right here, pretty much where her feet are. She's still kind of, actually her feet will be closer right around here. There we go, right around there will be kind of nice. And then there was a chair over here. This is where Helen was sitting earlier, but Helen now's over here. She moved, but again, she's not a priority right now. Their interaction is my priority. I am not concerned about the other characters in the background, and you'll see what I mean. So most of this will be very simple. And then you have her reacting to him. So this is now going to go to another over the shoulder, but it's going to be from his point of view. So right now it's kind of like a POV over the shoulder for her, and that's going to be like a POV from him, a point of view. And this is actually something really nice to do, especially if you've seen scenes where you have characters like they're eating at a restaurant and they're at a table. By putting it like an over the shoulder, it makes you feel like you're part of the shot. And you see this a lot in video games where you're just following like the main character, or you're following a guide, and then you're just kind of following them like over the shoulder, and it just makes you feel like you're part of the conversation, versus feeling like, let's say you have like a table and it's only big enough for like 4 people, and you're the fifth wheel, so you get stuck in the table far away. And you ever been to parties like that where the main people are on the cool table, and then you're like on the spillage table, and then you feel like you're never quite part of the conversation. So by kind of putting the camera like over the shoulder, your audience feels like they're part of that conversation as they're talking back and forth. Now the reason I want to put it a little bit further to the right, he's still staying, even though right here he's shifted more to the left, because I still got all his dialogue coming right here. I'm still keeping him on the right of her, and I'm not bouncing him around back and forth. I got away with that in the slide before, but that's because we're switching 180. So I wanted to show the reaction of the characters towards each other. But this time around, I'm going to try to keep both of them in the 180 rule. Now in this case, she's kind of mocking him. She's like, oh, that's sweet. What's wrong with you? Now, originally I had her holding the sheet with her left arm, but she's going to temporarily switch. And right now, so she's leaning forward towards him. So because she's leaning forward, her arm, this elbow is going to be higher than this one right here. Excuse me, elbow, shoulder. Jesus. What time of the day is it? Yeah, you heard me snort. I don't care. Now there's going to be some foreshortening because it's going to be heading towards us. So it's going to be smaller here. It's going to be larger here. And then her hand is going to kind of be up here. So then you're going to see the hair kind of go right through. And you're going to see foreshortening right there. Yeah, so she's still kind of holding Now she's holding her sheets with the right hand. Like you switch, you know how you like randomly subconsciously switch. I could be a little bit ambidextrous. I didn't realize I didn't until I started playing pool with a friend. They're like, you know, you switch your hands. I'm like, do I? I didn't even notice it. I was just like, this feels comfortable, and I just kind of shot. But she quickly kind of changed her hands so she can kind of mock him for a moment. And she's still sitting on the bed. So, again, she just recovered from a really nasty experience. I'm still keeping track of her mass. Here is her rib cage. Here is her waist. Right here is her hip, and here are her thighs. And she's kind of sitting like I don't know what to call it, like Frogger, where you kind of sit like you're about to like meditate or something. But she's still holding to that, and then she did have a pillow right behind her. This is on the previous panel, and let me dig out the previous pages so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's good to keep consistency. That is very important in sequential art. So right here. See, this is the previous page. I posted this on Twitter. So this is pretty much what it's going to look like when it's done. So right here, you know, you see him on the side of her bed. There's the other character. She's starting to wake up. This right here is going to be mainly fuzzy when I color it. And then right here, she's waking up, and then he gives her a hug. And there's some stuff back here. Like there's a pillow. There's also like a piece of wood, like I said, this is like Mad Max World, and they just kind of like rig like an IV set. And then right here, that's their interaction with each other. Sorry, I only have so much space to show this. But that kind of gives you an idea. And again, I posted this on my Twitter and on my Facebook. There's way more to this. Way more. This is book 6. Only book 1 is put out, but I want to make sure that when I put out the book, I hate it when I followed artists and then they start a book and then they just stop and then it's like incomplete. So I want to make sure that I finish this before I put anything out. I still don't know how I'm going to do the distribution because a lot of things have changed in 10 years. So right now I'm just kind of looking at some alternatives. There's so many ways to do it. So if you're asking me when it's going to be out, I don't know. I'm hoping to get the pencils done by the end of the year. There's still one more book after this. This is book 6. There's book 7. That'll be the grand finale. Woo! On Naruto style. Just kidding. Yeah, once I figure that out, then I'll put more information about it. All right. But yeah, so there was, her bed was a makeshift bed made out of crates and like just random blankets. So the furniture is literally just this makeshift, concoctive crap that they just slapped together in order to help her out because she was dying. She was just straight up dying. And then right here, you're gonna see me fail so hard with the hands. Hands, the ultimate weakness. Okay, so you have right there's the thumb. It's gonna be some hair kind of going through. It comes up because the hand is coughing, like it's like a cup is cupping over his head. So most of what you see, since this is her left hand, you're gonna see the thumb wrapping around here in the front. There's going to be some hair sticking out, and then you're going to see part of 1, 2, maybe 3 here, or maybe even less. Right there, maybe a little bit more. There's some hair sticking out. You know, right there. Just kind of put it down. Hands are still my weakness. I mean, I don't care if they look kind of derpy, but it's cool. All right. And then from there, I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to work on... Now that I have that laid out, let me finish the last one. And the purpose of this is to make sure that your audience goes from top to bottom. In this case, in our country, we read left to right. So you want to make sure your audience can zigzag. By default, we're going to start in the left, and then we're going to read to the right, go to the left, go to the right. And you want to make sure that your panels flow down. And that's pretty much what's happening here right now. My panels are going to flow down. Okay? Okay, so from here, I'm going to have her reacting. Like I said, he's acting a little extra strange towards her. She doesn't know quite how to process all this. Like he's being a little too loving. And I don't mean like, you know, he wants to bone her or anything. I don't know why is it that people automatically think that, you know, if someone's being nice to you, you're just trying to get into their pants. There is such a thing as, there's different types of love, admiration, friendship. It's just, in this case, he just went through a traumatic experience with her, so he doesn't know how to quite respond to it, so he's just really worried and he's relieved, and this is how he's expressing himself, and she's just really confused. Again, by the change on his behavior, just sudden change. So it's kind of a really important point in the story. Okay, so we go from there, and what he's doing is, she is right around here. Again, she is very confused, and notice I'm still keeping them right here. This is the line of action. That's what's important. You don't want to go beyond that. That's too low. She's still processing. All right, I tend to draw a circle and oval. The circle pretty much gives you the cranium. The oval gives you the jaw. When I draw a cylinder for the chest, I figure out what the spine is doing. That gives me the rib cage. Her cage is going to be a little lower than he is. She is not a very tiny woman. She's still holding her sheet with her arm. And your arm comes down. Your elbow tends to line up with the base of your rib cage. I'm going to draw past this just so I can keep... I want to make sure that it looks like it's what's a good way to say it? Sometimes you see people draw and they run out of page, and what ends up happening is it's like the arm will be like over here, and it makes no sense. It looks like the whole arm popped off, and it just completely doesn't look like it belonged. So sometimes by me drawing just a little bit past it, that's totally fine, and it just kind of makes it look like it looks a lot better. Hey, what's up, Gun Bunny? Oh, is it? The frames is too large for the broadband to handle. Is it bugging? Is it bugging? Because I was working on that earlier. I've been trying all kinds of settings for a couple hours. Does that why it looks stretched? But yeah, dude, I had to kind of mute the chat to only followers only because you weren't there. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm still working on it. So maybe next time I'll get it. So it actually works a little bit better. But like I said, it's just trial and error. But does the camera look a little better quality other than being stretched? 1440 is too large. Okay, I gotcha. Let me see what I got it on right now. Hold on. Give me a second. Properties. Okay. Video format, custom, yeah, it's not giving me any options to change it at this point. Okay, well, you know what, I'll keep that in mind for the next time, and I'll keep playing with it. But yes, you can see I got some music. Royalty free, you know, I could play it on Twitch. You know, I checked. So hopefully, you know, this will work out. But yeah, like I said, I'll keep playing with it. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. But anyway, it looks like the arm is kind of like popped off way over here. Is this too dark? Can you still see what I'm doing? Because I'm sitting right by the window, making sure there's plenty of light. Got some light behind me. Can't hear it. Can you not hear the music? How about that? Can you hear that? Oh wait, hold on, give it a second. Can you hear that? Nope, nothing. Oh man. Yes? How about that? Yes, no, better? Still nothing? I thought it was being too loud. It never ends. You know what? It's fine. I'll keep playing with it for next time. Alright? Alright. But anyway. So, like I said, guys, trial and error. I'll keep getting better at this. I just keep, you know, this is better from last time. Next time I'll get it, I promise. Okay, better. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yay, your support means everything to me. Woo! Nah, not really. I'll still draw with or without you. I know I'm a terrible person. And let me know if you want to grab that ramen this weekend. The only time I can do is Sunday, but you know, I'm off tomorrow or Monday if you want to catch some ramen, dude. Okay. So right here, She's sitting there. They're talking. Her arm is forward. Why is my phone buzzing? Alright, hold on. I gotta check on this. Alright, sorry, give me a second, guys. Alright, cool beans. Just putting out fires. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, so right here they're drawing. But he's holding her hand. Again, she doesn't know how to handle this because they're more like partners. They don't have a very loving relationship. It's more like a relationship out of survival in this world. So the fact that he's showing her this type of kindness is kind of, it's weird. It's weird to her. She doesn't know how to process it. She's like, what the hell? What happened to me? Like, why are you acting like this? Who are you? And what did you done with my partner? You know? So that's why she's kind of freaked out. Let me just kind of draw her hair. Alright, cool beans. And that's just kind of more like a placeholder. I work tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Helping out at work. Alright, cool beans. Well, you know, if you're ever bored, it's not the second time I offered. Third time's the charm. Next time. Okay. So now that I have the basic layout, again, guys, I start with thumbnails. There's my script. There's the thumbnail. Basic, El Cheapo, big pencil. That's pretty much what I do my brainstorming with. And then right now I'm just kind of just laying out my sheet. Alright, now let's go ahead and start working on those expressions. Now at this point, this is a really very painful moment for him. I am unfortunate, like I said, I've lost a lot of friends throughout the years, and I've also had a lot of close calls. And there's something really strange about having someone in your life and then suddenly you cannot talk to them again anymore. They're just gone. They're gone. Like, and it's like, and what's even worse today, because we have social media. Like I said, I have these two friends that they're gone now, and they had social media, and every year I get reminded on their birthdays by Facebook. It's like, hey, today's so-and-so's birthday, and I'm like, yeah, no. So it can be a little haunting sometimes. I had one of them that freaked me out because someone hacked into their account, so they were sending messages, and I'm like, oh my god, they're messaging me from the grave, wow! No, it just turned out some asshole broke into the account, and they were spamming people, you know, being assholes. Alright, so he is he's very resentful of what happened, because it could have been prevented. He just wasn't paying attention. She got hurt really bad, like really, really, really bad. I don't want to say too much, but she got hurt really bad. And notice I'm just kind of cleaning up. So right now I'm just trying to get the expressions down. He does have like a goatee. I tend to draw a little bit of the lower lip. There we go. So this is just me just doing the expressions. He is slightly malnourished because they live in like post-apocalypse kind of world. So he does have the indentation right there. Alright. And then from here I go to his ear. And he actually has 2 earrings. And he's got like mud chops, believe it or not. And right around here, and he's got his hair. And I'm keeping track of certain things. Normally the bottom of your nose lines up with the bottom of your ears. The top of your eyebrow lines up with the top of your ears. It's not always the case, but it lines up in most people. You also want to make sure that your ears, there's some space. It pretty much follows the edge of your jawline, and it's back here, which is almost around halfway through your neck. I see a lot of new artists. They're learning how to draw, and they just randomly put the ear in different spots. So if you guys want, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna zoom this down a little bit. You guys can see a little closer what I'm drawing here. Okay, so that is a little bit better. You see? Maybe that's too much. There we go. Cool beans. Yes? No? Let me change the light here. There we go. Alright, so he's got this mohawk, and his mohawk, I've actually simplified it to 5 spikes. And yeah, he looks like a bootleg Sonic the Hedgehog. And that's cool, you can make fun of me for that. And he's got like these crazy highlights from like the 1990s where everybody had frosted tips, when in his case it's like a frosted highlight. Here, let me shut down this light because it's overblowing the image. There we go. That looks a little bit better. There we go. Alright, cool beans. So right here I got the muscles of the neck, and then he's a male, biological male. So he's got the Adam's apple. Then right here you see the 7th bump of the vertebra right there. Now in the previous page, he is wearing a chain. He always has this chain on. And then he has switched from his usual button top to a tank top. Because he had just come from a mission. He was filthy. He took a shower before he visited his friend. It's all implied. We never show him on the shower. This is not that kind of a book. We don't show that. That's on the bonus features. Let's get. So right here, you see the top of the arm. I know he looks like he's got scoliosis, but that's okay. So it's just me just kind of getting these details down. Alright, cool beans. Alright, now here, you're gonna have her reacting. So his eyes are shut. She's reacting to this like, what the hell happened? Let me sharpen my pencil. It's a shame you guys can't hear this music, because it's pretty dope. I've been advertising them the whole time. No one can freaking hear them. It's all good, man. It's all good. Okay. So right here, her eyes are gonna be kind of wide. She's like, whoa, personal space, dude. Like, what the hell happened? Like, she's still kind of processing what on earth went down. Well, she knows that she went to sleep, and all of a sudden she's waking up, and her friend is apologizing up and down. Her friend and partner, like, she has no idea what the hell is going on. And she's getting the information right now as he's talking, and obviously she's blushing. You got someone that close to you that you're not used to being that close with. Yeah. Alright. She's like, what the hell, man? Yeah, so understanding, your character's personality before you start drawing a book, start drawing anything, it's very important. It kind of gives you a lot of what you need ahead of time. At least how they're gonna behave, how they're gonna react. So it's very important for you to know what is the relationship of the characters with each other. Do they have any history? What's that history? How far backwards it goes? Is it good history? Is it bad history? You know, were they friends once and then they were like enemies later? Think of like the new Shira with what's her name, Ketra. They were childhood friends. Oh, what's going on with her hair? Oof, this one not a hairstylist for a living. Ugh. here, the hair's kind of overlapping with each other. Again, she's just very confused. How do you do this? She's supposed to have like this bed head kind of thing. It looks like her brain's back there, but whatever. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. She's got like a scrunchie. Right now her hair. Keep in mind, she still doesn't have any clothes on because she just woke up from being really messed up. So this is a really awkward, special moment for her. Sometimes, you know, those little moments don't go according to plan. They just kind of happen. All right, so hopefully you guys can hit cool beans. Okay, so at this point, her hand is still here. And she is holding onto that sheet for dear life. And again, I'll continue to go back and clean this out just a little bit more. Technically, his arm is shoulders down here. So technically, there's a little bit of a tangent line there. But okay, and he has. I'm gonna look at my book real quick. He's got a tattoo on one of his arm. I can't remember if it was his left one or his right one. Nope, it's this one. So I just gotta look. Because at my age, I'm getting old as hell. Okay. Got a tattoo here. I still need to go back in and define this a little bit. This one I'm trying to do on my pencils early on. It's got a star. My characters are based on Puerto Rican characters. I try to put a couple Puerto Rican stuff here and there. So we got the Puerto Rican star there. And my friend B used to have this weird ass tattoo on his arm. It was just like this stripe, this black stripe. And I used to make fun of him for it. It's like, look, what the heck's up with that stripe, dude? What's going on? They're like, I just look cool. And I'm like, yeah, you got a black stripe. Awesome. You know, whatever makes you happy, man. I mean, that's your money. So, then he also has one on his neck because he is the 5th rider in his EV with a circle. And he's got one on his back that we currently do not see. Okay, so that kind of has that right there. All right, cool beans. So that kind of starts cleaning that out, and I'll come back into that. And I tend to kind of go back and forth from top to bottom. It's just the way that I operate. Oof. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. What time is it? Okay, I still got time. I should be able to to play Deep Rock Galactic with my friends tonight. All right, so right here. Okay, so he's still talking to her, but he's have you ever met one of those people? They have a hard time saying they're sorry, you know, like they're so full of themselves, they never say they're sorry, but when they're sorry, they're genuinely sorry, like, I'm sorry. So right here, it's kind of a more like a 3/4, so he's still looking at her. He's kind of looking a little bit off to the side. I want that, kind of that little 3/4 view. Sometimes I gotta draw this more than once. And even sometimes I have to go a couple of days without drawing. I'm actually gonna just start a fresh pencil because these are getting too small for my hands. It's one of the downfalls of drawing all the time. If you don't take care of your hands, you can end up getting something called carpal tunnel. And it can be very painful. I used to have it in my earlier career. I used to have it a lot because I used to work very, very long shifts. So today I tend to be more mindful with my hands. And I like keeping a nice sharp tip. He's kind of looking down, kind of sorrowful. And sometimes, you know, comics and animation are not that far off. However, there's sometimes your expressions are not gonna come out as good, so you have to go back a few times. For right now, I'm just kind of laying this out. And I might have to go back to his eye here shortly. He's got some volumizing here. Oh, the volume. So in this case, his hair is divided into these spikes. It's going to be there. This right here, pretty much most of this jawline. Okay, and this ITT app is a yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Seals. Guys, special guest, Seals. You guys should see him playing Smash Brothers. In fact, don't bet against him in Smash Brothers. He will decimate you. Sorry that your ITT application, you have to start it all over again. Sorry, dude. But you know, just keep going. That's a lot of money to let go. So, stay strong. What I say, you guys say, Army strong? Stay strong, Army strong? I don't know. We're airborne. Okay, yeah. Shitty expression, I'll come back to that later. That's a later problem. Alright. And you'll have this. Okay, so right now there's the straps. This is collarbone. And then right here, technically his arm's gonna move back a little bit. Okay, so you got deltoids, biceps, triceps, pectorals right there. And then this right here. And out, and he does look a little weird at the moment. That's okay, I'll fix it. And upper, that's okay. He's got a tank top. Yeah, this looks really weird. He's got like square boobs. It's alright though, it happens. And right here, the pectorals do not go in there. Nipples are in the corner. You know, we need to draw them. We don't need to draw them, but it's good to keep track of them. That. Keep in mind he's still sitting next to her. I'm sitting here doing math, trying to figure out how much I paid against my balance, comparing the original borrow. Can't say lost this much money. Yeah, oof. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I will just kind of try to go through, try to figure out what all the questions are. Just kind of like BS it, and then try to come back in and try to put the correct numbers. Those programs, any government website is such a pain to navigate. Period. You're like, oh, this kind of works good. Nope. Especially any web stuff. All right. So right here, we're gonna go ahead and continue. Again, she's still a little miffed by the situation. She is just processing. Like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Who are you? Where's my friend? Just, you know, completely miffed. Completely miffed of what's going on. I don't like that. Nope. Mouth was weird. It happens. Again, she's got that weird, like, bedhead kind of thing because she just woke up. Her hair technically has two tones. This is purple right here, and then back here it's like a darker brown. There's her ear back there. Okay, that's right there. Alright, so far looking pretty good. Yeah, you go get it, dude. You go get it. Cool beans. Let's keep going. Alright. So right here, she's got a collarbone. That's her arms. So she's a strong lady, but she still has very feminine features. So her muscles won't be as defined as his. That's just biology. Women, biological women, on average tend to have much softer features than biological men. Not to offend anybody, that's just science. That's just good old school science. It's physical, not mental. Okay. So right there you go. She's still kind of processing what he's talking about. Like, she's in her head, she's still kind of blushing. Like, she's like, what? Like, he's so nice to me. Alright. Again, very simple background. Contractor, gardener came by, analyzed problem. It is contact with owner. Owner says it has happened before. Alright, so long story short, guys. My friend moved into an apartment. I guess it started raining, and then suddenly his living room started flooding from the ground up. So he has been shutbacking his living room for what, 3 days now, Seals? 3-4 days? Trying to get all this water out. So yeah, that's what's going on with him. So I guess he's just kind of coming in just to keep me company, waiting for that water to rise again. Okay, so right here, over the shoulder. Again, I'll come back in a little more details I go through. And again, I'm one of those, I don't worry about inking too much. I love the pencil. I've always loved old school, like just looking at the comics, and like my favorite part is seeing just that raw pencil line. So today that I work on my own books, I really I keep the pencil line, and then I just do a lot of the stuff digitally. A lot of the texture, the backgrounds, the color, just very basic, stuff, because, yeah, 3 days. Because I just like how it looks. It's a personal preference. It truly is a personal preference. Alright, let me change butt cheeks, excuse me. Let me scroll this up. Yeah, my scanner's directly under this table. It's a very big scanner. So right here, he's continuing to talk to her. He's trying to, he had a lot to think about. And he's telling her about the stuff that he did, but he was waiting for her to recover. So at this point, she's aware that something really bad happened to her. And I guess she almost didn't make it. And he's trying to just kind of be really nice to her and trying to be a better person because he almost lost her. Sometimes I wish I still had. It's hard to find those little eraser sticks. I've been dealing with the issues since Sunday, but 3 separate flood incidents. I want to get the tablet to draw. Yeah. Dude, I'll be asking for some rent refund. Well, at least let you off the lease and put you in a new unit. That's BS. If they knew about that, that's gross negligence from the what's that called? The landlord. Look into your tenants' rights. That should not be okay. That's not okay. Anyway. So again, I'm just kind of putting this together. Okay, it's kind of rough right now. And I'll come back in and do one more sweep. And I'm just refining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set the earrings. 1, 2, 2. Again, neckline. Collarbone right there. And I actually I have to do these streams more often. The problem is if I don't do much of the stream on the stream, I'll be giving away too much of the story, and I don't want to do that. But yeah. Anyway, so this is book, and he's trying to tell her that he read it, and again, completely out of character for him. So something really jacked up happened. He's just being a little bit weird. So right here, gotta figure out. Technically, your hand's kind of mitting around the book, and then the thumb is in here holding the other half of the book. Then your wrist kind of bends and it goes down. This is not perfect science. It just kind of gives you an idea. Then you can go back in and refine. So, always start with mittens and then work your way up. Everybody's got a different methods. I would tell you I'm not the strongest hand drawer. I'm okay at it, but I really need to do focus studies again. Every couple years I'm like, my hands suck, and then I go back in. You think after all these years my hands do get better, but I bounce between so many different mediums. Mainly a lot of graphic design throughout the years. It seems to, animation is great, but it's truly a labor of love. Too many hours, not enough pay, and very little pay, in very expensive cities out of everything. So, and yeah. So, right there, she was laying down in the bed. Previous chapter, the chair's still there, background's back there. You can see how this kind of starts coming together. So, coming from blank, going from this, and to this. So you can see how this is kind of getting better and better, so I'm going through. Let me grab a swig of water. Swig, swig, swig. Seals, don't you have a Wacom tablet? I thought you had a Wacom tablet. Oh, you've been drawing with a mouse this whole time. You brave, brave soul. Okay. Alright, gotta be careful with the eyebrows. I want to make sure that I don't accidentally draw her like she's pissed. Or make her look like she's sad. Again, she's still kind of blushing because she's still trying to process what happened. I do, but it's one that doesn't have a screen. Oh, gotcha. Sorry about that, man. Maybe soon. Maybe for Christmas. Just ask the whole family to give you Amazon gift cards and buy one for Christmas for yourself. So this is her kind of trying to, comfort him. She's like, that's enough doom and gloom. I don't know what the heck just happened. But, yeah, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. You don't need to apologize, It's all good. And she's not sure how to take all this, so she's kind of deflecting right now. Okay, right here. Continues from there. A ponytail. Okay, so from here. Just the elbow. Remember, there's going to be some foreshortening here. Keep that in mind because she's back here, so it's going to be going towards him. And right here, you're going to see her fingers. And it's going through his hair. So you're going to see part of his hair going through there. And then right there once again. I know they look a little weird, but that's okay. Just make something, anything. Just make anything. So don't be too critical. You gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta produce. Just produce. 1, 2, 3, 4. Believe it or not, I still count how many fingers I got in there. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. And even this one right here might be a little too far. So I'm just gonna show a little bit of the tip. Nothing too exuberant. Man, I am important today. Everybody and their mother's texting me. You can tell it's a holiday, because normally people don't call me for jack. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so here's what I'm encountering right here. So technically, we're looking at the back of his head, so you won't see the inside of his ear. So it's more like this. You're gonna see la concha, which is like the earlobe area. It's a little bit at the back. And you have earring 1, earring 2. Okay, and then right here, you got his cheekbone and part of his jawline. It's gonna continue down here, and then the other part's gonna be down here. And keep in mind, there's his nose. Again, I'm still keeping track of here's the eyebrow, here's the base of the nose. This is me in my head. Normally I don't draw that, but I want you guys to see what I'm seeing. Let's see. Yeah, don't go to school. So my friend is talking about his student loans. Yeah, let's see. Alright, it's just my friend flipping out because his file's not working. Alright, moving. Yeah, because hey, even their mother's trying to contact me today. I'm like, what the hell? I'm not this popular, I swear! Okay, then you got his goatee, which technically kind of goes around here. Okay, and you have part of his neckline. And right here, you got the back of his skull. And technically, this kind of contours around here. Okay, cool. Then you have the 7th bump. By the way, guys, for you guys who are new to the stream, I'm sorry that I had to do this. I pretty much put it that if you're a follower, you can chat. I got hit really bad with spam bots the other day. So I said, if you really need to ask a question, you know, you could just follow, and then as soon as the stream is done, you can like bounce off. That's cool. I just trying to keep the spam bots from getting on there because they hit me really hard the other day, and that really sucked. Okay, so that's right there. Now V has a tattoo right here as well. I need to find the fine version of that, but again, I'll tackle that one. I cross that bridge in color and I fix it. She's really messing up his hair. Okay. Now Lou tends to be, so this is V, and Lou tends to be a little bit more robust. She is not a tiny lady. Like myself, I am a robust Hispanic female with an Afro-Caribbean mixed body type. We will never be a size 0, and that's okay. Especially now, this day and age, man, people they're all over the place. Oh, I like them thick like, peanut butter, like WC thick. I'm like, okay, cool. So, I can't run real fast, but I can sure carry a lot of weight. That's about it. I used to run fast. I used to. Now, I'm just happy to get a point A to point B. Yeah. I don't need to run anymore. So, I'm just preserving my knees. So, Seal, since you're telling people not go to school, are you suggesting they should join the military? To go to school? Or just learn a trade? What are you suggesting here? I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. Don't go to school. NOE? No. Okay. You're too funny. You kids just can't please you with nothing. Learning a trade is not bad. I mean, especially now, holy crap, some of them are paying, like, especially construction, they're paying a lot of money. Like, between, like, I think it's like $25 to $30 starting with, like, no experience because they're so desperate for workers. Alright, cool. So this is starting to shape up nicely. Look at that. Look at that. School is good, but America's system is awful. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. After paying my $80,000 worth of student loan. Yep. But I got 3 degrees, so, I kind of made off like a bandit, so I guess. But still, that's a lot of money. Alright, cool beans. Alright, so right there. Looking pretty good so far. Alright, just trying to flesh it out. And, let's see. Right here we got the dialogue there. Man, I'm getting hungry. I really want a burrito. I should not be eating burritos, but I'm hungry. Okay, what's her dialogue? What's she saying over here? Okay. So, at this point, she's joking with him. He's like, no, I'm not joking with you. So, at this point right here, you're gonna see him trying to be more direct. The current program they have for forgiveness is total trash. I mean, I know a lot of people that went in. Ada Finn, she's a firefighter, and she got her degree to become a firefighter, and sadly, it took her forever to get her loans forgiven, and they barely did that. And then they come to find out that they were not forgiving barely any loans because everything was just jumping through hoops. So, yeah. But, yeah, dude. I mean, I just hope if they do the loan forgiveness, can I get a refund? Because I paid mine off. And that sucked. That really sucked. I had to sacrifice a lot. So, I mean, they're giving out refunds for people that paid it off, then, that's cool. But, damn. Yeah, that's not only, but current, denies 98%. Yep, 98%. That sounds about right. Oh, and I'm gonna do the sideways mouth. You guys can make fun of me if you want. I don't care. YOLO. YOLO. All the way. Sometimes you just gotta borrow some stuff from other cultures. The mouth on the side is one of them. I said, I don't care. I'm making something that I want to look at, that I want to read. That's why I'm doing this without a publisher, because I'm just having fun. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, you know? Just his hair's still messed up. Just messed his hair up so bad. Oh, his tattoo up here. Don't forget that. Even that, I gotta fix that contour right there. It's cool though. I'll be back to that. Alright. Over here. He is. Man, this music is hopping. I still don't know. Can you hear any of that music? I know my friend told me you can't hear. Can you hear anything? Seals? Nada? Yeah, if you can't hear it, I'll fix it next time. Okay, so he's holding her hand, so it's gonna be kind of like a cup kind of thing. So right here, we have the wrist, and we got the palm, and then we still got the thumb. You know, he's holding her hand. Again, right now I'm just kind of doing mittens, and that's totally cool. I can hear, according to my math. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. But hey, I mean, that degree got you the snazzy job you got now. Woohoo! Look at you go. Doing things for important people in important places. All the important things. Yeah. You know what? I don't regret it. As a kid from immigrant parents, my parents gave me every chance. And I'm not much of an immigrant, you think about it. Because I'm from Puerto Rico, so technically we're, you know, legal American residents. But it's still, if you've ever been to PR is not a very rich country. It's very poor, actually. So when I moved to the States and I saw the cool stuff all the kids got in school, I was all in there, man. Music, band, soccer, you name it, I did it. Because back home you had to pay for everything separate, so you couldn't just go to anything. Here it's all offered for you. I'm like, this is amazing. So, yeah. It's a lot of things people take granted in this country. But it's all perspective. I don't take it for granted. I love this country. It's a good country. It's treated me well. Mostly. You were hired by name, not credentials. Hey, that's the best way to get hired. I know somebody. Wink, wink. You laugh, man. I tell you, I have my degrees, but almost every job that I gotten has been because somebody knows me, and they know my work ethic, and they know my skill, and they go, I know this chick, and man, she's good. She's a little crazy, but man, she's good. And it's funny, every once in a while it's like, hey, I've heard of you. I'm like, what have you heard? First thing that comes out of my mouth, what have you heard? Yeah, that's pretty much how I've gotten all my gigs, including my current gig, and I feel blessed. Met some wonderful people, even more people from a more diverse background than from the college I used to teach at. And yeah, I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I miss industry. I just don't miss the pay. And I'm now working to live, not living to work. And yeah. So that's something not that many people can say. So very, very happy. And if an opportunity shows up, I'll look into it. But for right now, I'm pretty content. I cannot lie. Got some pretty extraordinary people I work with. Sometimes we fight like cats and dogs, and that's fine. But Yeah, I wouldn't trade most of them for the world. Most. Nah, just kidding. Just joshing. No, they're good people. Okay. So that's right there. Alright. Again, still kind of like an uncomfortable moment because she's still not wearing much. But she's trying not to react too much. Okay, cool beans. So now I reached this point. So this is past 2. Now this could have passed 3. I still got about an hour. I can still get this done. Alright, let's go ahead and clean this up, shall we? And right now, I already kind of laid out the fundamentals or the base. I'm just kind of going back in and just cleaning up. And could I just shade that in? Absolutely. Why don't? Because that's more cleanup for later. I don't want to do more cleanup later. Keep your eye on USA jobs. Yeah, no, it's cool. Just open up a new hospital. Ah, cool. Well, I'm a graphics person, so yeah, there's only so much graphics they'll need. Okay, right there. There we go. And from there, like I said, I know this is just a little bit outside of the box. I don't care. That'll get cut off. And it's kind of like I say, you're just kind of laying out your map. And 1, 2, 3. He always has 5 spikes on the top, and then a little bit extra right here at the bottom. Right here is a post-apocalyptic world. Not a lot of shears. The neck muscles. And like I said, this is kind of like a sign of relief for him. That's the chain here. It's got like a little white beater on. Or a tank top. I can never remember. Is it white beater or wife beater? Sounds terrible. Either way, it's a tank top. That's right there. And let's go ahead and do more detail. Right here. To go back in and recheck that tattoo. That's totally fine. I'm gonna darken that out, just give it a little bit of depth perception right there. Green screen studio and everything. Huge graphics department in our hospital. Really? Y'all got green screen in your hospital? I guess if they're doing presentations, that makes sense. I mean, it's still cool, don't get me wrong. That's still pretty neat. Nope. Nothing important. Okay, let's go ahead, since I'm right here and cleaning up. You can see the panels are coming in a little bit nicely. Woohoo! Okay, so right here, you can buy mechanical pencils that offer these. It's something that I've been meaning to get. You get the lead. All I need is the lead. I have them like bookmarked on my Amazon. I just haven't gotten around to getting it. I still got tons of pencils, so I'm kind of burning through those first. So again, she is kind of blushing. And I'm cleaning out as I'm going behind us. Just trying to clean up all this excess because I don't have to deal with it later. But you know, there's some quick ways to clean that out, so I'm not too worried about it. And she is confused as hell. What the heck is going on? What's going into you? What the hell happened? This, technically I drew this a little too high. Again, I'm still fixing. Even this, I'll sometimes come back afterwards and I'll fix some of this stuff up. And I have a ponytail. Ponytail's kind of coming up in this case. And so she just kind of woke up, so her hair's a little messy right now. Normally it's kind of combed. It's kind of wavy. Again, Afro-Caribbean, our hair can go from straight as hell to curly as hell. There is no in between. So we're very proud of how this hand turned out right here. And then he's just talking to her. Okay, so I love making them stand out of the other party. Just want to make sure that this doesn't look like there's a booger coming out. I have been watching some pretty cool stuff. There was a great show on Netflix called Trece, and it's kind of like a detective, like a detective sci-fi mystery show. It involves kind of like vampires and demons and all kinds of cool stuff. And at first I was confused because I kept thinking the show took place in like Latin America because they had, you know, very Hispanic Spaniard names. And I'm like, this looks like it could be Latin America, but it doesn't quite look like Latin America. And I couldn't figure it out. And finally, because even some of the characters, like, they look kind of like Asian. They had like what's called monoloid eyes, and I'm like, oh, I'm confused. Where does this take place? And then they finally figured out it takes place in the Philippines. I'm like, oh, that's even cooler, because then it made more sense. And it's really good. It's on Netflix, so that was a pretty interesting use of very. They had a lot of limited animation, and then they knew when to budget in for the high action shots. So that was a really good one. They just added the 5th season of 7 Deadly Sins. I'm currently going through that. And then I'm still watching My Hero Academia. I'm on season 5. I'm just kind of watching as they go through. Probably tomorrow I need to sit down and watch the Bad Batch from Star Wars. That one's really good too as well. I still need to watch some of the episodes in between because I watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and then I watch Rebels. And there's like 2 new ones but it's got a bunch of kids in it. So, but I'm pretty sure there's some story plot in there. So I watch it, even though it's a kids show. I still watch it because, you know, I like to learn the lore. And for the longest time, for me, Star Wars was kind of like this weird. I was the weird kid because I love Star Trek, And my one complaint was that, well, Star Trek has more story and the characters feel more fleshed out. Star Wars are just the standalone movies and that's it. At least for me, I didn't have time to go back in and read all the books that later on they were told by Disney. It's like, this is no longer canon. I'm like, well, it's a good thing I didn't read those books. So it was kind of nice to see them really kind of flesh out after they made that move. By the way, this back here, so they're like in a tent. So that's what this is. So as you can see, it looks like they're in an environment. They're not in limbo, but they're the main point of focus, and I'm not worried about the background. The background's going to be like a tarp. But for right now, this is pretty much what I'm going to do right here. You can call it efficiency, you can call it laziness. I don't care, because it's my book, so kiss my butt. And right here, this is going to be kind of like a shaded area. It's going to be like the tarp. Technically, this kind of leads to the outside. I'm going to put some X's in there. And most of this I do in Photoshop digitally anyway. Okay. Make it really stand out. Okay, and again, she's kind of like, what the hell, what the hell, what the hell. So look, this looks really nice. Alright, so let's go over here. Let's fix his eye. Sometimes this happens where you just cannot get it right the first time. And that's cool. Yeah. Okay, so going from there. And then right here, I think the plan is to then open his eyes wider enough. Not quite the expression that I want. And even if I mess it up a few times, guess what? It's going to be taken into Photoshop, so I'll fix it in post Photoshop. Man, that looks like ass. That's okay. You guys got that one panel. I'll fix it in post. But for the most part, he's just kind of, you know, he's kind of looking down. Not every panel's gonna be gold. If you look through any like major comic book, you're always gonna find that one panel looks kind of derp. This is my derp panel right here. Oh man, that really looks bad. That's okay. I'm just gonna have him look at her, and I'll fix it later if I need to. Right now, it doesn't look as derp. I really wanted him to have more of a resentful look to him, but this will have to do. Plus, to be honest, this is a little bit more like his style. He's kind of blunt and honest. Doesn't tend to look away very much. He calls it as he sees it. Oof, this tip. That's a really... I hate this. Especially when I don't have the really fine pencils. Oof. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. It's not perfect, and it's not pretty. I'm sticking to it. Derp panel. Derp. And that's what I do sometimes. I'll draw it. It doesn't look good, and then I go Photoshop, and then I fix it there for the final. So if I ever decide to sell my pencils, someone out there will get the derp edition. I would never sell my pencils. Maybe they pay me enough, but nope. What is it that Sanatos used to say? Pay a man enough and he'll walk through hell barefoot? Maybe. That's on Disney, by the way. Disney Plus. Good old gargoyles! Woo! Come on, Disney, give me a reboot. I want some gargoyles. They were so good. And I'm almost done rewatching the new DuckTales. They added the last season which I didn't get a chance to watch when it was coming out. So I'm just now catching up to that. Yeah, good. It's very good. If you grew up watching DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Gummy Bear, anything from the 90s, it's practically in there. Hell, they even go as back as the Three Caballeros. And yeah, it is dope. It's dope. I love it. I tell people to watch it. Yeah, I love it. Okay, my Derp panel. No wonder she looks horrified. He looks horrifying. And I might have to even push down some of these features, and that does happen. Doesn't worry me too much. Don't stress the little things. It can be fixed. We're living in a digital era, so that's the beauty of living in a digital era. If you mess up, fix it in Photoshop or fix it in post. Just keep in mind, you fix it in post, you don't get it right up front, it might cost you more. Yeah, he looks really derpy in this panel. Don't care. Still don't care. Alright, still got 40 minutes to fix this. Yay. There we go. That kind of looks a little bit better. Keep in mind, tank tops, they do have 4 openings, one for the head, one for each arm. Yeah, never sweat the little things, guys. I've seen friends that they're be working on something, one little thing didn't go right, and they trashed the whole thing. I'm like, good lord, why do you never finish anything? So, not looking too bad. Okay, so right here, pretty much carry that tattoo. It's part of his deltoid. Says a little Puerto Rican flag there, or the Puerto Rican star. Yeah, I had a lot of Puerto Rican jokes in the first one, and then after a while, I just, not really Puerto Rican jokes, but there was a lot of Puerto Rican references. But it takes place in Florida, and you've been to Florida, it's practically Puerto Rico 2.0, so might as well take place in, Puerto Rico. There. Alright, so that's right there. Not looking too bad. Alright, cool beans. Alright. Alright, turn from there. Ah! What did I do with the sharpener? There you are. Way over there. Okay. Just clean up the lines. That's what I'm doing right now. Not bad. I mean, I'm at an hour and 44 minutes. That's pretty gosh darn good for me. And I like to keep my stuff simple, especially for me because I'm a one-man army. So I'm writing it, drawing it, coloring it. So I have come to learn how to simplify things and optimize other things. And trust me when I tell you, my first couple books, my pages were sick, like super sick, like so much detail. Then I had to call it. I'm like, oh my god, why did I do this to myself? So I've simplified, and when I started simplifying, I realized I ended up getting the similar effect with less, and it kept the story going. So I just kind of simplified as I went through, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know her hair kind of changes volume here and there. Inconsistencies! No, just kidding. Yeah, technically her hair comes down, it curls up. But there's also a sense of passage of time because from the first one to this book, it's been about 6 or 7 months in time. But I never really quite talk about it. It just feels like it's days. Kind of like Lord of the Rings. Technically, unless you're reading the books, Lord of the Rings, the movies, it's technically months, but in the books there were years. Hey, bud. Nope. Nope. I love you, butthead. Nope. That's my meow meow. I gotta change cheeks. Give me a second. Oof. Okay. Otherwise, I just spared you from cat booty on the mic, on the mic and on the screen. Cat booty. Okay. What are you doing, you butthead? What are you doing? No, no scratchy. No scratchy at that. Alright, that's fine. Okay. So this is closer to what her actual hair looks like. Getting it from here. And she's got a tattoo as well. It's part of the story. I don't get to see much of it from this angle. And a lot of those tattoos I will redefine a little bit later. It's kind of like a placeholder for now. Okay. I like boldening the outline. It's just something that I've liked. And thickening some of the main lines. Again, personal preference. I think it just makes the character stands out, and it makes it a lot cleaner when I bring it into digital. They stand out a lot more. Some of the unwanted stuff kind of stays out. So as you can see, I'm not using very complicated tools. I said a lot of people have kind of noticed that as the year has gone by, digital tools are fantastic. However, digital tools are just that. They're just a digital tool. They're just a tool. And I've seen people heavily rely on those tools, and when you actually look at their illustration and they break it down, it's not that good. Things are not in proportion. They're mainly heavily relying on filters or cheats. So I tell people just be proficient at two, or get good efficient at the basics. If you get really efficient at the basics, I mean, once you get access to that really good gear, man, you're gonna blow people out of the water. But the problem is, if you don't have the fundamentals down, and then you just try to jump, like I've seen little 12-year-olds with Cintiqs. Like they just started drawing and their parents get them a Cintiq, and I'm like, you know what? That's awesome, but I would have just given them a drawing pad and a couple books. They don't need the fancy tablet, you know. But that's just me. That's just me, you know. Starting with the basics. If they get serious about it, and whatever. And maybe some kids are super gifted. I mean, I've seen some 19-year-olds that blow me out of the water. I'm like, you know what? Kudos to you. But allow yourself to be trained in multiple mediums. You'll be amazed what you learn from just sculpting and, you know, dealing with pastels, just looking at the textures, dealing with gouache, inks. I mean, there's just so many possibilities, and then how that experience carries over to your digital art, or you're trying to mimic a style that later on you can use, you could try to replicate digitally. You just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. So yeah, so you're starting to get into art, and you know, you're freaking out like, oh my god, I can't do this. Oh, back in the day, people did everything analog. Really, look at the old day of like Stan Lee. I mean, they did all that. They did all that text by hand, all of it. Oh, like good lord, that's where my brain would be going. No, you know, they used to use whiteout and letter all that crap out by hand. Holy crap! Like, you know, letters today, you know, they're very skilled. I'll be the first one to tell you. That's one of the few things that I just cannot do very well. Typography is just not my thing. But you know, back in the day, to be able to do that by hand, that's impressive to me. That till today is still impressive. Even those old drafting guys that used to draft buildings so by hand, I was like, oh man, now you got all the software to cut down on the time. I mean, it's great and all, but you know, something about picking the brain from that one old dude that's been there since, like, you know, before the rendering software was available. That's the guy you want to pick their brain and get their experience and find out all the techniques they learned from trial and error. That's the guy you want to learn from. Yeah, in an era where people are constantly calling people dinosaurs, or it's like a weird age war. I look and they make, oh, dude, they'll make fun of that old dude, or, you know, yeah, there's certain things they don't get, but, you know, learn from their experience, make it your own. You know, what do they have? They have experience. You can't buy that. That's something that comes with time. You know, they'll teach you stuff that it's not in the books because it's not covered anymore. There we go. Get in there. Woof. There we go. It's doing that. Ah, don't mind me. Swig of water. Boop. 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 Boop, boop. Still don't know if you guys can hear that music. I think you can. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. That's the one thing people don't understand. The artists put on headphones to kind of block a lot of stuff out so they can concentrate. It's weird. People think this just kind of comes natural. And as you guys have seen me kind of talk, I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that I'm talking a lot about technique, proportions, layout. And people think this just comes natural to us. I'm like, no, man, that's our brain. That's everything our brain is processing while we're doing these things, you know? It's not magic. It's theory. It's practice. It's figuring out, you know, what masses overlap in what. How would this surface interact with that other surface? And you start getting to 3D modelers, their mind is even more complex, because not only are they trying to think how to replicate a 3D surface, they're also trying to figure out how to replicate textures, lighting, movement. If you're an animator, you're trying to figure out what the performance is. So ambient music becomes kind of our friend. I can't think of an era where I didn't have earbuds on or something playing in the back, just to kind of keep me company. I hate sitting in dead silence. I've had to do it in the past. It's horrible. It feels more draining. Having the music kind of helps you concentrate, but it was mainly stuff without lyrics that kind of helps. Things with like a basic beat. I will say though, the music you play would affect your drawing. Obviously, if you're angry, you want to play some angry music. Some rock, alternative, death metal, hardcore gangster rock. Whatever floats your fancy. And even right here, I'm still doing some basic repairs. Yeah, but for me, I mainly have to wear earbuds, especially if I'm working like an open office. Sometimes my brain suffers from fatigue, and I don't feel it until I get home, because I'm always aware of my environment around me. And so if I'm in an open office and there's all these conversations going on, my brain is not just only focusing on the drawing. I'm also focusing on what I'm absorbing. I'm also like dealing with people, and then on top of that, all the conversations that are going on in the background. So it's one of the few things I miss about my old office. It allowed me to concentrate, but you know, things happen. I don't have it anymore. It's just the way things are. I miss that office. It was so groovy. Time to move on greener pastures. It's alright. Alright, so you can see this coming along. It's becoming more and more defined. Like I said, I'm not going too crazy. Notice I'm trying to add some line weight. Line weight is one of those design fundamentals, but in illustration, it really gives it an oomph and dimension. Just gives it some weight. It makes it look less rigid, at least to me. Man, look at that. Hooray. Alright. Keep in mind she's still holding that sheet. She also has that tattoo. That's part of the story, and I'm gonna spoil it for you. She is in the foreground, so she's going to be a little heavier than him. Again, this is just a personal preference. So you can see she's in the foreground. This one, he had the tattoos in both his arms, but looking back, I think it's just in one arm. Continuity issues! I said, I'll fix it in post. Something. Yeah, the thing about drawing is to overthink it and practice a lot and gain something that's called a line of confidence, where you kind of pre-visualize your line. In this case, as you can see, I've been building these characters from the inside out with just some basic gesturals, then going from there. And now there is another edge over here. I might have to go back in here. I'm pretty sure the other characters are still in the background, but I'll fix that later. Just trying to get as much done, and then I'll do some fixes wherever I need to. Hey. Just have some textures in there. Here. Let's move this up. There we go. Secure that right there. There we go. Again, me breaking fourth wall. Okay, this finger right here should go. Nah, you know what, that works out fine. Yeah, I'll figure it out later. Okay, from over there. Okay, over here. Just clean some of this gunk out. Earrings. It's got two big old silver earrings. You see someone from like behind. You might not see their eyeball, but you do tend to see their lashes. Guys got like the most beautiful thick lashes. They don't do crap. It's just the way their hormones are. They have thicker hair, so it looks healthier. Meanwhile, us women, we're just buying all this crap to make our eyelashes look better, and guys get that crap for $3.99. Life is cruel. Life is cruel. Okay. see back there. I said I have to go back and revisit what that looks like. So normally I have like a character sheet, because this project was kind of done in an impulse. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of started going straight through, and it was supposed to be a joke, and here I am, over 10 years later, still drawing a book. So, kind of have a character sheet. I just have to look at the older books. That's pretty much it. Okay, she's got. Let me look at the other one real quick. I'm trying to get this big ass sheet. Woo! Placed out in a particular way. Okay, so it is bottoms 1, 2. So that should be good. 3. 4. From this angle, you see it's the bottom, so it's not too bad. 5, 6. Technically, most of the stuff is on top, so that's not too bad. It's the elbow. She does have some muscles. Yes, believe it or not, women do have muscles. I know, right? What a concept. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, sorry this looks a little stretched on the screen, guys. Like I said, I'm learning. I did get rid of the, turn off your mic, please. This time around. So, much better. Go. Look at that. Yes. Woohoo. I'm just doing her hair. Satin. She tends to have like these really long bangs that are this purpley color. Oh no! No, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? It happens. That's why I order these in like boxes of 12. Tend to draw real hard sometimes. I don't need to, but it does happen. Alright, there we go. So we got the face. Okay, looking pretty good. Try that from here. She's holding on to that. It's coming right at us. So there's all of the wrist. Here, this one up. Okay, just contouring around her body. Okay, right here. Let's turn this. Looks like a wrench, but it's technically two people, but I'll explain that later. And I'm still figuring out this tattoo thing. her pretty much going. Oh my god. My legs are stuck to the chair. It's alright though. Okay, right here, it's like these folded sheets she's got going on there. Not priority, so not too worried about it. Then there's a crate here. There's a little piece of bandages coming out from there. It's like a tub, a little mini tub. It's got really messy, what's that called, gauze, because I guess she got really messed up. Alright, so that's that right there. Here, like I said, they did like this makeshift hospital for her. So it's just a piece of plywood that's kind of back here. These blood bags have been deflated, mostly. She doesn't have to use them for a few days. So most of them are just empty. They're just kind of hanging there. Okay, so that pretty much has this right here. Oh, focus. There you go. Alright, let's clear that. Alright, coatings. Beard. And I wanted to break a wall. It's just a style that I like. To the last panel. I only got like 15 minutes left before we move forward. Let me text my friends real quick. Trying to finish this by 7, but I definitely gotta eat something. I am starving. There we go. Right there. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Now let's do this last panel down here. So I figured out most of this already. That's the good thing about doing pre-planning. A lot of people hate it, and especially clients, they don't understand how pivotal pre-production, pre-planning is to the process. Especially if you have some labor-intensive stuff. When you take the time to really sort out the story, the panels, the layout, you tend to go faster when you go in production. There's a lot more work to do, but it saves you so many headaches. I mean, so many headaches. I'm not even joking. Never get on a project where they're winging it. They don't have storyboards. The script is half-assed. Do not, for the love of your sanity, just don't do it. The whatever exposure they promise you, it is not worth it. It's not worth it. Alright, cool. It's done. Add the little festive tips here, because this is after she messed up his hair, so continuity. You can tell my hand's getting tired, but that's okay. I need to rebuild my stamina. I used to be able to draw for 16 hours a day, but now that I've gotten older, the good part is I've gotten faster, so it's good. But you can see, look at the bump in my finger there. I can still pump the same amount, but in less time. Comes with experience. Plus, you know, kind of slouching over doesn't really help much. I've gotten a lot into fitness these years, so trying to make sure that, you know, keep my hand intact, because it is my bread and butter, and so I don't overdo it. You know, love to draw, it's my passion. Story development, design, always loved it, and sequential art especially, been a big part of my art career. What did I do with that razor? Sharpener. There we go. Sorry, I need to get the sharpener. Oof. Okay. Cool. That's great. Okay, if I could see the arm back here, then I won't see it up here. Yeah, these interacting moments, they look easy to draw, but there's especially hands. Holy shit, there's so much going on in here. Because your hands technically have 14 digits, and now you have the foreground hand, the hand in the middle, the back, but the one in the back that's implied. There's so much going on in there, and I'm just gonna simplify it and pretend if it's jacked up, I'm gonna pretend that it stays jacked up for right now. Like I said, just trying to finish this out so I can go to eat, because I'm hungry, and then I'm going to play some Deep Rock Galactic with my friends, my crew. I know, I'm just living the dream. One Deep Rock Galactic game at a time. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Someday I'll find my Prince Charming, who's as big as a hermit as I am. Not too much of a hermit. I do like the outdoors though. Be a hermit, but not a full hermit. Okay. So her, I have to change her nose because the previous nose did not fit her design. Again, I tend to have kind of a... She's pretty, but she's not like the European Tumblr types you see. It's a little bit different. You know, she looks like she's got a mustache. No mustache! No mustache. There we go. That looks a lot better. Still looks like she's got a mustache, but you know what? Whatever. We'll fix it in post, right? Right, kids? Yeah, yeah. that's her neck. This comes down to here. This is too high, so technically this goes down here. So that's the base of her neck. That's her collarbone. So this gets to be pushed down, and this arm gets to be a bit thicker. Woof! Again, making changes all the way to the end. 7 vertebrae comes down here. Shoulder blades. She's got her fabric. Still need to figure out what's going on with this book here. I need to sit down and design that. Like I said, a lot of the details, I'm going to design it on this, on the outside. You know, before I start coloring, so I can just kind of use perspective transformation, or because there's some really high detail items. I'm not going to sit there and draw that detail over and over and over again. Think smarter, not harder. Or work harder. No, work smarter, not harder. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Again, he's kind of apologizing to her for being an ass. She's just eating it all up while blushing. Whew. Okay, let's get these tattoos. And even these, I might go back in afterwards. I will clean them up and I'll reshape them onto the surface. For right now, they're a nice, neat little placeholder. Woohoo! Getting there, and I am at 2 hours and 23 minutes. Woohoo! Okay. That's still pretty good though. Yeah, back in my heyday, my fastest was about 2.5 pages per day at 11. This is 11 by 17, so I slowed down a little bit. But again, I've also learned how to work more efficiently. So as I'm drawing this, in my mind I'm already kind of mapping out how I'm going to tackle this when I bring it digitally. And that's how you have to think, you know? Just, you know, especially in this mass quantity. I mean, it's nowhere near to like the guy that did Berserk. That dude literally died working. Rest in peace, sir, rest in peace. But, you know, just gotta learn how to be economical. Alright. Again, I still have no idea if you can hear that. But it's pretty dope. Okay, so right here, just a little bit of the background showing is a second created distance. And it does have powder her jetpack on the ground. Goes to around here. And there's the opening. That's that opening you keep seeing back here. So technically the room is pretty simple. I tend to keep my environments really simple. Because again, the environment is not the focus for me. The story is. The character interaction, it's the most important part for me. I've seen way too many books where they look pretty and the story is so boring. Like, so boring. I'm like, wow, look at all this detail and there ain't shit going on here. Yay! Ain't shit going on here. Okay, so that's the stuff in the background. So my goal is to make it by 7 o'clock. I already pushed my thing to 7:30 so I can eat something. So I still got 4 minutes. I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, no, but technically, long story short, by the way, the 4 of you cats who stayed here with me the whole time, I appreciate you. There was a 5th, but I think I lost him during the middle of that shenanigans. But, no, just, at the end of the day, you know what? Just create. Just write. People are so hung up on trying to be the next Jonas Vasquez. He's the guy that made Invader Zim, or any of these, like, online artists, and if you talk to them, most of them didn't even think they were going to be that big. They're just consistent. They drew a comic that they like, and they shared it, and eventually other people liked it. Someone has shared it, and then they shared it, and then they shared it, and there they are. And most of them would tell you they didn't become popular overnight. They just simply just kept at it. And that's pretty much what you have to do. Just create, just make stuff. And at the end of the day, even if it's a flop, you learn from it. I mean, for me, I never would have thought I would have been, you know, when I first started doing this years ago, I'm like, I can never make a comic book. And then the first one was the hardest, and then I make another one, and then I make another one, and I just keep getting faster and faster. And yeah, just create, have fun, don't overthink it. That's simple, you know? I know, it sounds crazy, but yeah. Believe it or not, most people don't realize they spend most of their day bullshitting. So if you actually take the time, you sit there to watch or do some random nonsense, because a lot of people just sit there just watching TV, or just browsing crap on Facebook. You could still do that, but try to be productive with your time, you know? Like, for me, like, I love putting, like, old animes in the background or documentaries, and as I'm doing those, I am also doing double duty and, you know, pumping stuff out. So, yeah. All right, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, just in time, it is 6:59. I am done. Let me go ahead and zoom out. Come on, do not pop on me. There we go. See the whole page? Hey. Okay, so from top to bottom, just the whole page. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. And it's a really nice conversation between the characters. Now you know it's official. So 7/2/21, HR for Hellion Rider, issue number 6, and this is page 5. And the timing for this was, I'm gonna start writing the time for this. 2:28:59. Woo! 2 hours and 59 minutes. And then my name. And Bruno. That's my actual signature. And here we are, cats. There I am. There it is. We started with a blank page. You guys saw me go through the roughs. And yeah, that's the whole page. This character's having a very, very important conversation after a very nasty incident. And as you can see, even though they're talking, it's still interesting enough that your viewer wants to go through it. Yeah, it's just them back and forth, and it's cool. It's hard to do just shots with just people going back and forth in comics. It just feels kind of stale and stiff, and you know, it just takes a while to, get used to developing this style. And even then, her nose is still kind of off, but that's a problem for later. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you. I'll try to do one of these again. Like I said, I keep getting better at this. I finally got the camera a little bit better than last time. So, unfortunately, I realized that my pixels are too big. So that's why the image looks stretched. But we don't have, headphones shutting down, so I got rid of that. I got the quality up. I just got to play with it a little bit more. We got some music in the background that you may or may have not heard. But I'll keep working on this. Like I said, I'm just doing this for fun and I'm experimenting and I'm just kind of learning. But I always appreciate you guys joining me, and yeah, appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you guys next time. All right, cheers. Oh, and music one more time by Stream Beats. This is their hip hop, and this is on Spotify. So please show them some love, and I appreciate you guys. Bye.